Yes, now you can hear me. Hi everyone, I hope you all are hearing me fine. Please send here in the chat if you can hear me well, if there's something, uh, if you have any issue in this code, in this live. Well, I'm Giovanna Proença, I'm from Doris Coding School, and today we will be solving some problems, all right? At the beginning, I will be answering in some questions about CS50 Python, so I'm gonna do the bank problem of the problem set 1, the bank, and then the file extensions of CS50 Python. I'm gonna do it in a different way than the one that I was doing in the video solution that we released last year. And then I will be answering any questions you might have here and also bringing some questions that our students had in this Discord community. Well, so what is our Discord community? Basically, it's this that you're seeing here, where we have people from around the world, and they ask questions about programming. You can ask any questions. For example, here people are asking what are the websites you can use for job searching, or even problems in CS50, CS50 Python, FreeCodeCamp, CS50 Web, the Odin project, any resource, any available resource that you have for learning how to code. And this is pretty good because you can get unstuck in the bug that you are when you're facing these courses. So it's pretty good. If you want to sign up, you can check the description below and you will be redirected to this page in here that you're seeing of what are the benefits you will get by becoming one of our members. Basically, you will receive a workbook where you have more than 500 problems with solution. And in these problems, we're going to face multiple concepts since the beginning, like functions, variables, to the end. If you want to become a web developer, for example, you can practice more about HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Django, or React, other things as well. We also have this group coaching that happens every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, and the Discord community as you saw. All right. So now I can see we have a member here, Robert. Robert, if you can, please send us a message here in the chat, and I will be adding you in our live soon. So please send first here in the chat what is your question, and then I will be answering you with, okay? I will be adding you in our live. But before, while you're I can see here you're having some issues with your video and so on. So if you want, you can fix this and then add in the chat when you're ready and also your questions, and then we can start. Okay. By now, I'm going to start creating, solving here this problem, Home Federal Saving Banks of problem set 1 of CS50 Python. So what we have to do in this problem, you can read this problem in here, but the main idea is that we're going to create this file called bank.py, and we're going to implement a program that prompts the user for a greeting. And then we need to do some checkings because the main idea of this problem is to work with conditionals. So here we're going to work with if, elif, and else conditions. Let me just double check in here. Hello, Robert. Hello. Let me see. Can you hear me? If you can answer me here in our chat so I can know what is your question, it would be really good. Well, so in this problem, the bank.py, we're going to check if the greeting starts with hello. And if the greeting starts with hello, we're going to output $0 for this. If the greeting starts with an H, but not hello, it can be hey, hi, any other thing, we're going to output $20. Otherwise, if we don't have hello or if it doesn't start with H, we're going to output 100. Okay, here we can see a little bit how it works. We have here greeting. We're going to ask the user for a message. It will be greeting. The user will type in the message, and we're going to give a value for this greeting. Okay, so let's start. Every time we start working here in How to Code, we're going to open our VS Code, and you can start your files and folder by clicking in here, but I like to work with my terminal. So I'm going to enter here in my director, in my folder, pset1. So I'm going to do cd pset1. Okay. And to create a new folder, I'm going to do mkdir and the name of the folder here, I'm going to call bank. Now, as you can see, we have a new folder called bank that we just created here in our terminal, and we can enter in this directory. So now we're inside of bank. To create a new file, we can do touch bank.py. And if you take a look in here, if we expand our folder, we have here bank.py, and that's great. So now let's start from the beginning. So like I mentioned, we're gonna get here the greeting, okay? And then we're gonna evaluate what will be the output. So to get the greeting, I'm gonna create a variable here called greeting, for example, and I'm gonna use the input function because the input method always gets the answer from the user. So here I'm gonna say greeting, okay? And if I print greeting, you will see the message that the user just typed in. So how can we run our file? We do python bank.py. And then here it's displaying greeting. If I say hello, we're gonna print out hello. Okay, so far so good. Now we need to check we need to check these three things that I mentioned. If the greeting starts with hello, we're gonna output $0. So let's start working with this first part. To check if the greeting starts with hello, we can take a look here at W3 Schools. If you don't know what is W3 Schools, you can check, you can search on Google, and it's pretty good because here you can find how some functions work, not only in Python, but in any other language, as you can see in here. And it's pretty good because sometimes you don't need to memorize all the functions we have. You just need to know how to search it. Okay, and what this starts with method does, it returns true if the strings start with the specified value or false otherwise. So let's see how it works. For example, here my variable has this text message saying, hello, welcome to my world. And then we're doing txt dot starts with hello, and the print is true because our variable txt starts with the word hello. So this is pretty much what we need to do. Okay, this is exactly what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna do if greeting dot starts with hello is equals true. You can say equals true, or you don't need to say anything in here. Oops. We're gonna print our message $0. Okay, so let's see if it's working. If I run here again and I say hello world, we are supposed to see here $0 because we're starting with hello. Great. But what if I put hello with capital H? If I say hello in here, it's not displaying anything, but we should display $0. So what can we do? We can convert our variable greeting into lowercase. So this way we can compare the strings we want. Remember that in programming, our code doesn't understand when it's uppercase or lowercase. So we need to convert this in here. So to do this, I'm going to use the lower method. Okay? So let's see what happens. If I run now again and say hello all uppercase, now we're printing $0 because we are converting this uppercase into lowercase. Okay? Once we have this, now we need to check another thing. We need to check if the greeting starts with an H, but not hello. To do this, now we're gonna use an elif block because once we pass the if, we're gonna check the second condition that is our elif. So in here, I'm gonna do elif greeting starts with an H. If our greeting starts with an H, I'm gonna print, oops, I'm gonna print $20. All right, so let's check if it's working. Now, if I say hello, we should see $0. But if I say hi, we should see 20. Great, it's working. Now, our third our third condition is that otherwise, so if it does not start with hello or a word with an H, we're going to display 100. So here we can use the else, and the else will print out for us 100. Oops, in here, $100. And now let's see if it's working. So if I say here, hi everyone, it's printing $20. And if I say here, let me see, what's up? If I say what's up, now it's printing 100 because we're not starting with an H. Okay? Well, send here in the comment if this is clear, if anyone has any question. I think this is a good way of solving this problem because in the video solution that we did, it was a little bit more complicated. We were using the in operator and other things that might be not that easy for beginners. But here I think it covers the main idea of the problem, and you also understand what is going on using this starts with function. All right. So now let me see, Robert, let me see if you are already. I'm going to add you to the stream and you can tell me, can you hear me? Can you say something? Let me see if I can hear you. I'm not sure. I will give you some time if you want. And you can send me here on the chat. Let me see one thing. Oops. Yes, I can't hear you yet. So I'm going to remove from screen and I will ask you to. Oh, all right. That's great, Robert. If you have any question, please send here on the chat and I will be helping you. Okay. Now I will be solving a second problem of CS50 Python, and it's also about conditionals, that it's the file extensions. So let me close here some pages that I just opened. In these file extensions, it will be pretty similar to what we saw. Okay. But right now, instead of using their starts with, we're going to use another method that we have to manipulate strings, and it's pretty nice. So let's see what we have in our hands. Meanwhile, can you tell me, Robert, what course are you taking? How did you find it? It will be really good to know a little bit more about you. Okay? And all the other ones that are listening to this chat, please tell us as well if you have any questions. Great. So once I finish here the file extensions, we can work with the free code camp part. All right, like you mentioned. Well, so in here in the file extensions, we're gonna check what is the type of the file we are receiving. So here it will be pretty similar. First, we're gonna ask the user for a file name, for example, here cat.gif. And then we're gonna print out image/gif. So we're gonna get the file, the name of the file, and we're gonna convert into this image slash and the extension of the file. This is pretty much what we have to do. They also give us here some, I believe it's a table where we have to see the common types, and we need to convert them into those common types. In here, for example, if we receive, let me see, if we receive here BMP, we have to define as image/BMP. If it's a CSS, we're going to convert into text/CSS. If it's a CSV, we're going to convert into text/CSV. So it's pretty good because in here we have a table that gives us what will be the pattern we have to follow. All right, but let's start from the beginning. First, let's ask the user for what is the file extension, the file name that we're going to work. So let's do all the process over again. Right now we are inside of the bank directory, but I want to go back to the directory of pset1. So I'm going to do a cd dot dot, and this will bring me to pset1 folder. Okay, let's create a new folder called extensions. Let me double check if it's extensions we have to call. Yes, extensions. And then I'm going to cd to extensions. All right. Now I'm going to create a new file doing touch extensions.py. And we're able to see here that we have a new folder called extensions, and we have the file extensions as well. Okay. So let's start from the beginning and do the same thing as we did for bank. We're going to ask the user for the file name. So here I'm going to create a variable called file name, and I'm going to ask the user by using the input function. So here I'm going to say file name, and we're going to ask the user. And then I'm going to print file name so we can check what is going on. All right. So if I do python extensions.py and I put here cat.gif, we're going to see here the message cat.gif. So far we're able to get the prompt from the user. All right. Then let me just open here in my other screen the extensions we're going to work with. So basically, we're gonna work with GIF, JPG, JPEG, PNG, PDF, TXT, and zip. All right. So we have to get this, and we need to check if the user is giving us this file name, and we're gonna print out this thing here that we're seeing, image slash and the extension we're working. One thing that is important here, we need to be case insensitively. So basically, we're going to do the same thing as we did for banks, and we're going to convert this into lowercase. All right, so we don't have any mistakes when we are comparing strings. So now, instead of working with starts with, we need to check the end of our string. So now we're going to use another method that it's similar to starts with, but it's called ends with, okay? And it's the same thing as it starts with, but the other way around. Here we're going to return true if the string ends with the specified value, or false otherwise. So for example, in this case, we're checking if our variable welcome to my word, and we have a dot, a period at the end, we're checking if the variable ends with this period. And here, if we print out X, we're seeing true. If I put here exclamation mark and I run it again, we're going to receive false because our txt variable is not ending with an exclamation mark anymore. So we're going to use this ends with, okay? The first thing we're going to check for the ends with will be our GIF, all right? So I'm going to do if file name dot ends with, and here dot GIF. What are we going to print? We're going to print out image slash GIF. This is the first thing we're going to do. Elif, we're going to check the next extension ends with, and let's see the next extension. We want to get JPG. Okay, so here, JPG. What we're going to do with JPG, if we're searching here, I'm going to do Command F, JPG. We see that JPG, we're going to display this message, image slash JPEG, for both JPG and JPEG. So here, print, and we're going to print out this message, okay? Then I'm going to do an elif for file name ends with JPEG, and I'm going to print out the same message as we saw previously. So we are working with JPG and JPEG. Now let's see PNG. So elif file name dot ends with PNG dot PNG. It's important to do a dot PNG file name. I wrote it wrong. We have to check the dot in all of them. We're gonna print. Let's see what will be the message. If I search here PNG, let me double check. We're gonna put this image slash PNG. Great. We're gonna print out this message. Let's see the next extension. PDF. So let's search for PDF. For PDF, we're gonna put this application PDF. So here, elif file name ends with .pdf. We're going to print out this message that we got from the table. Elif, let's see the next one. File name dot ends with dot. And the next one here is txt. So let's search for txt. txt. We're going to use this txt slash plain. Great, txt. I know it seems silly, but this is how we should solve the problem. Okay, we need to use a bunch of elif statements ends with dot, and I believe this is the final extension, zip. So let's search for zip. And here in zip, we're gonna use, I don't think this is the correct one. Let me do dot zip. It's this application slash zip. Great. Dot zip, and then we're gonna print out this message. And for the else, if we take a look in here, we're gonna see this paragraph. In the file's name ends with some other suffix or has no suffix at all, output this application blah 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 instead, which is a common default. So for our otherwise, that is the else, we're gonna print out this. Okay, that's pretty much all right. Okay, I will be waiting for you, Robert, then. All right. So this is pretty much what we have to check. This is also something different than I did for the video solution. Please, if you all have any other question, just stop me. I'm here to answer you all. Okay. If you want to join the live, you can click in the link that I sent here in the comment. Okay. Right now, we're working with the file extensions problem of CS50 Python, and I'm doing a different way than the one that we have in our channel, because by the time I thought in a different way, but it was a little bit complicated. And I think using this ends with method, it's easier for people that are starting right now with coding. And it's also a really good method for using other purposes, because sometimes, I don't know, in a real world problems, you might face something similar, and working with ends with, it's easier to check what you're looking for. So this is pretty much what we need to do. So for example, right now, if I run the test and I put cat.gif, we're supposed to see here image/gif, and this is exactly the output that we're checking. If I put here GIF, only the word GIF, we're gonna print out these applications, blah, blah, blah. And why is that? Because in here we are in the else, because we're checking if our file name ends with .gif, not only the word GIF. That's why we're doing this, okay? And you can try it out for multiple other things. So for example, if I clear here and I run it again and I put words.txt, for example, it will display this message text/plain, okay? So this is pretty much what we have for this problem file extensions. If you have any questions about it or any other question about programming, please send here in the chat and I will be answering. Okay? Thank you all for being watching our live. It's pretty nice to see that there are people that want to learn how to code. And if you want to ask questions, if you're a little bit shy and you want to ask questions here in the live, you can join our free Discord community by clicking the link we have in the description, and you can join this community of learners we have in here. This is pretty good because sometimes we are stuck at some point. We don't know where we should go when we're coding, or even if you want to look for a job, for example, this last question we had in here, or what are the good resources you can do when you're learning how to code. Here you can ask any question, and us from Doors Coding School and members from all around the world, they will be here to answer you. It's pretty good, all right? And you can check by clicking the link in the description. You will see this page where you see all the benefits. For example, you will gain a workbook with more than 500 problems with solutions to practice. So this is pretty nice if you want to learn how to code by yourself and have some help. All right. Well, this is pretty much what we have for today. I brought some two screenshots that I think it's interesting that we saw here in our Discord community that is not so specific. The first one is about the final project of CS50 or CS50 Python. And this was something we saw because it was the end of the year and many people were trying to submit and get their certificate. So if you weren't able to get the certificate from 2022, don't worry, you can get this year. Your progress won't be lost. Tomorrow we will be releasing a video explaining how can you get your certificate or your paid certificate without the need of doing all the course over again. Okay, but if you still have any question, please send me and I will be happy to help you. All right. So this is some problem about the final project. So basically this person here wasn't passing in the final project. And the main problem was because you have to send a README file. So if you want to send your final project, I will open it in here. Final project CS50, for example. Project CS50. They kind of explain what are the steps you have to do. You can't only do your code, you have to submit other things. So, for example, you have to submit your code. You also have to record yourself showing your project with no more than 3 minutes in length. All right. And you also need to send this readme.md file with the link of the video and also a short description. Normally, if you fail in the final project, it's because you have to write more in your description. I normally suggest 500 characters, something like that, and then you will be able to pass. Okay. And the second interesting thing that if you're working with SQL right now, or if you're working in the part of web development, manipulating data using Python and SQL, always remember to double check how you're writing the name of your columns. It seems that the word here is recipient. But if you take a look, you have an empty space, a white space right after the letter T. And as you can see in here, we have this white space inside of the quotation mark. The quotation mark means the word you're looking for in the column of your table. So the name of this column is recipient and white space. That's why one of our students were having a issue. So if you want to fix this, always double check if you're getting the correct name for your columns. All right. Well, that's pretty much what I had. Some curiosities to bring in here. I solved these two problems, and next week we will be solving more problems. So please, if you're watching this right now, I can see we have more people getting in here right now. If you have any question, as I mentioned, you're a little bit shy, you can join our free Discord community. The link is in the description. Or you can be here every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, where we will be solving different problems and also your coding problems. So feel free to join every time you want. Okay? Well, thank you very much. And I hope to see you all in the next Tuesday. Take care. Bye bye.